wrong. I backed away when I should have stood strong. I quit if things were taking too long. And Lord, it's taking forever to write this song. I was born on the mighty Mississippi. My daddy was a mean drunk hippie. When mama had me, that damn doctor hit me. And now you know why I'm so goddamn lit. So listen up and take a step back. Real rap's a journey, not a one-way track. Find your own voice, don't just imitate. Cause the real ones rise and fakes ones fade. Bragging about the streets they roam. And sitting on the cold aluminum throne. While I'm spitting and vibing, they just moan. Claiming they're kings, but sitting alone. Got bars like a prison, but they can't break free. Spitting recycled lines, no originality. And here I am, bringing up clarity. While they babble on, lost in their parody. No need to set a trap with a limp in their wall. People saying they can never can't even talk. Babbling lies, they think they're so fly. But I'm here to tell them to say goodbye. Babbling nonsense, trying to chase that fame. But I'm here to call it out, it's a damn shame. Claiming they're the next biggie in the game. But their rhymes are weak, just a flicker, no flame. You sound familiar, yeah, real vanilla. So similar, like some out of place gorilla. In a small villa, deep in Manila. Kin to Queen Camilla and her flotilla. And all kinds of Furbies and chinchilla who drank too much tequila. And what's really killer is that the real filler is the real spiller. The real filler is the real filler of the real deal. All these channel nerds on this panel verse using battle words to tackle turds and slaying shit in bit non-bits, putting out hits on men with tits and chicks with dicks and LGBTQ misfits and don't know shit yet, professing truth like an effing sleuth in a private booth with a lion tooth drunk or removed like a damn fool. And just in case you haven't heard, I'm a true ogre that writes his own word. So don't cross the line, it isn't blurred. It's from first-hand experience I've learned when I hold the words back in my mind. It's just me trying to be kind, but no man, I'm not so blind. Speaking is the right kind. Speaking vivid visions right from the start. With each word playing a certain part. A verbal picture that shows its own art. Painted with passion, inspired by the heart. I'm telling you, break the chains with the truth. In a world full of babble and giving proof. So drop the act, let the real ones thrive. In this rap game, only the genuine survive. When things have become so problematic, I try to find solutions like an addict looking for a bump to keep up the habit. And the effect seems so damn automatic. This comes a personality or whatever you want to call it. I don't participate chasing a bag by trying to ball it. See, I'm a redneck with no money in my paying wallet. So go ahead and keep hating on me like Jussie Smollett. Everyone questioning my style, you must be kidding. The words that I am putting forth are hitting you in the right in the face, yet you are tripping. You're drunk on something and you ain't been sipping. Just step into the metaverse where the vibes can be cursed. Digital dreams, but sometimes it feels like a hearse. People lost in avatars, chasing likes in the cloud. But what's worse is the real world's fading now. We all have the freedom of speech be, but people always trying to bleep me. Is it because they can't keep me? Or is it because they can't beat me? Bring the simple truths that you can't destroy. All the patent things I've seen since I was a boy. The things that made me cry and brought me joy. The good and bad in my life I learned to employ. Taking from them the experience and leaving emotions behind. And so I learned to be true and no longer accept to be blind. Acting and performing in ways that others have defined. Only to find out once again that I have them aligned. We're living in a world that's so filled with doubt. If you're caught in the game, they try to seem to break out. I see you looking for the truth, but it's hard to scout. Thought you were awake, but finding you're lost in the cloud. They feed us the script, gotta learn to live without. Learn to question every lie and to flip the route. See the agents lurking in the dark corners all about. See I'm breaking free, hear my discernment speaking out. Perception's a trick punch like a shadow in a bout. Chasing after dreams, others trying to drown them out. But I rise from the ashes and break free from that doubt. In this matrix of madness, you hear me scream out, breaking the chains and getting rid of all the doubt. That's what what you have to do to find your way out. Drink the clean waters and let your vision sprout. In a world of deception, together we'll rise and shine. From the matrix ray twist, what it's all about. Reality's not a screen, that's delusion. You can do it out. Trapped in that illusion and mostly seeing others pout. Feeling like a pawn in a game where they set the route. Bet you didn't think I could write this rap. Bet you didn't bet I'm right in fact. So scream all you want and write in caps. All you really doing is fighting stats. So remember I was born on the mighty Mississippi. My daddy was a mean drunk hippie. My mama had me, that damn doctor hit me. And now you know why I'm so goddamn lippy.
Days ago, and look who we have. Say hi to Dempsey. We've come to realize that it's a female with the dull coloring, and so therefore it is no longer Dempsey Sir Poops a Lot. It is Dempsey Madam Poops a Lot. So just once again, reminder, if you're a steward of life, you will have lifelong friends.
Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There is a PayPal link down there for anybody that wants to share some love, and all is appreciated. Every little bit counts. And we have Landry with us tonight. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing okay, man. How are you?
Good, good. Kind of a shocking surprise today, huh?
Yeah, and the more I look into it, the more, there seems to be a lot to unfold here.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than internet YouTuber going out and nixing another internet YouTuber. It's more than the school shootings or the red flag things like that. This is an attack on what is known as autodidactism. And when we look at people like Charlie Kirk, the important thing here to remember is he didn't have any college education, but he was very well spoken. He was very on point, and it shows that he had an observance that was very discerning, and that is one of the things that I think people are lacking now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the issue I think is that we have. Hopefully, it's using the right mic. No, is it? Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just set up the boom arm. Yeah, it seems to be very significant when you think about events like this. You can kind of look into history and you see a lot of assassinations in sort of chunks, I would say. But a kind of this nature is very rare, from what I can tell. I mean, this is because if the sides were flipped, obviously, if it was somebody on the left who was shot, they'd be singing a different tune right now. So this kind of inverts the traditional narrative that we would see in this case.
Yeah, and it's beyond a hype stage. It's at a reality stage. And I want to show you what that reality is. Like I said, this isn't a school shooting or a red flag event like that. This is something that Congress paid attention to immediately. So let's take a look here. This is during a session of Congress today, and they gave a moment of silence.
Chair would ask that all members present in the chamber and those in the gallery please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk.
Pay attention, folks.
What purpose did the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join for prayer right after this, okay? The chair lays before the House a communication. The House will be in order.
It's fascinating. I can't hear you.
These are the nation's leaders, and they can't even hold a decorum in a moment that they need to. You know, the people are watching this, and this is what they see. So this is like a conditioning that says that they can do it just the same. If we had leaders that could hold a decorum, that diplomatic etiquette during tense moments like this, it would be a much better society. Greetings, Chuck. How you doing today, brother?
Greeting. There was a shooting, another shooting today.
Oh, really?
Evergreen, Colorado, high school shooting.
The date.
Interesting.
Did we mention the date yet?
Today
What's
is
that?
today is 9/10. Tomorrow is 9/11.
Yeah, you would have thought if someone wanted to be poignant, they would have waited till tomorrow. But maybe they didn't have the opportunity. I don't know what Charlie Kirk's schedule is.
Yeah, and that's, you know, it's part of what many people might think would be a red flag, and that's why I'm making this distinction, because there is a video I saw earlier too where they supposedly apprehended the man, and what I saw, people were taking that somehow he was in a vehicle, but what I saw was a backpack type bag with strings that a guy would carry on his back on a bike, and I saw squad cars, but no actual civilian vehicle other than a bike on the sidewalk with nobody else around, and they were ruffling through this bag, and they had a rifle with a silencer on it and stuff, and
It's probably been scrubbed now, right? In that video.
oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Let me.
Okay, I want to see it if you could, because this
I
is the
saw
kind
the
of thing. Go ahead.
Close up. I saw the close up video when he got shot. It was gruesome. And then I saw the video of the guy running across the roof and laying down. But from the video, I couldn't tell if he had a rifle or not.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull this up.
Somebody was taking video of that roof. Supposedly, it was a 200-yard shot.
It's fascinating to me because, I mean, this is the moment, you know, where whatever did happen, whoever was involved, it could be, you know, talked about for many, many years to come. The same way we talk about JFK, there's still not a whole lot of answers on JFK because these events of this type are very, it's almost like they're intentionally confusing just to keep us guessing at the person and the cause and the reason, rather than the overall message that it really sends to us as a not just a country but as a people of the world, where we're heading.
Yeah, shut your mouth and don't say nothing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's disgusting, and I don't care how you slice it or dice it.
Yeah. I don't know. What the hell? Let me pull up YouTube and see what we got here.
Yeah, I want to see that. Did you see the guy running around the roof? I want to see that too.
And I don't know if it's still up or not. I was on another program when the gentleman was playing it.
This is a wake-up call to the panelers'
link.
problems. It's not that important anymore.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth, dude?
For all these people that are just, and I get it, because I think when people want to be quote unquote journalists, they depend on stuff that's shocking like this. So when that's not happening, they almost try to instigate it. So that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Or when they first, one of the stations, when they first dropped the story, they was running with some stupid scenario that made no sense. And I was like, oh, I hate the media for just trying to sensationalize every damn thing.
I'll be damned. I can't find that clip.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They're going to scrub everything.
Yep.
That's why I took a screen cap as soon as I got the other one, and I'll do the same if I can find any more. But yeah, I'm on Odyssey. I'm on all the sites where it would be, but it's even been taken down from those.
I'll see. Well, the only one I think I got a link to is the close up
Me too, yeah.
that showed the tons of blood coming out of him.
Okay, here, evidently, here's one that shows him on the roof.
Yeah, the roof one went by so fast I wasn't able to catch the clip or the link.
Okay, right there. See him right there on the top?
We don't see nothing, Wizard.
Not seeing my screen. Oh, duh.
Just got the one with the people talking in it.
I don't know. I'm just pulling it up.
Okay.
You see him right there on the roof? See my pointer?
Right.
Yeah.
That's somebody laying on the roof, evidently.
Based on what you're about to see.
From over
On Sparks Automotive. Building next to it.
Getting right up. You already be placed.
This was my suspicion as to what happened. And I want you to see exactly why this was my suspicion. Because as to what happened.
So there's the angle. This is where Charlie Kirk was.
Hold on, but just take a moment to look at this stage. Whatever this is. This is a very, very interesting looking
It's one
setup.
of those pop-up tent stages, yeah.
But even just so this is the benches down there by the square. Those are like the seats.
This is a college campus.
Okay.
Right, and this is a tiered stepway down into like a conclave, where before it goes into the building here. So this is a recessed area into the ground. So he had to be up at a high level to get the shot.
Hey Bex, as far as the reality of it all, I don't know. I used to kind of be one of those people who would be like, "Oh, it's fake," but I don't really see any.
No, I'm not
realistic
calling
way.
fake on this one.
Yeah, I don't think it would be possible, because I mean, this man is like so prominent, and I don't think he would take a deal or be a part of this. I think this is a ritualistic sort of thing that we've seen, where it's supposed to desensitize us to violence even more so than we already are.
Exactly. It's a desensitization. That's what I'm talking about. It's a conditioning. They are conditioning people through this stuff, fear mongering, red flags and stuff, conditioning them to be able to accept it. And we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be accepting any of this stuff. We should be up in arms about a government that says they can protect the people and can't, while in the event of being involved in world wars, saying that they're protecting people around the world. This is a straight up delusion of authority. And when people like Charlie Kirk in their autodidactism try to put a message out to get people's mind to really start thinking rationally and abstractly outside of the box that they've been confined in, they don't like it. They themselves will scream. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to Bex, I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, I don't mean to read your chat, but just like, I don't know. I just, here's the part where the truther community I can't really get behind.
Fact. I mean, Real is real. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, even I saw a slowdown video of it that was trying to say it was fake, and it's like ridiculous. I mean, that's the thing that we have to remember here. It's like things can be real. Like not everything is fake, and some things might be, but I mean, sometimes things are very real. And I mean, this is one of those. I can't think of anything similar to this where it was somebody who was in that kind of limelight to where it was a political pundit getting assassinated recently in the age of social media. Can y'all think of any others?
What was it? I'm thinking. Well, there was 2 Congress people that were shot in Minnesota over the summer, I think. And then there was an attempted one on a governor of Minnesota, maybe one of them states up
But those are
there.
politicians. You know, this is a
Right.
different
The
kind of.
last pundit I can think of would have been Martin Luther King in '68.
That's what I'm saying. It's been so long. So this is concerning for the well, and not even just this. I mean, looking at my homepage today, just you see a ton of doom and gloom, like, oh my God, food's so expensive, and it is.
Well, you know, Poland activated Article 4 of the NATO thing, right?
No, I don't know
Because of the Russian drones that flew into Poland last night.
and then the
They
Department.
called for an Article 4 meeting with everybody in NATO to discuss the issue.
And our poll says the close-up was gnarly. Now I've heard about it, and I'm looking for it.
Oh, I have it. They scrubbed it. Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
I don't want to show it on your stream. I can share it privately if you
You
want.
can't. No, don't show it.
Yeah.
You'll get.
Don't show it. Don't show it because
I'll
that's
send it to you on Telegram.
Yeah, and they'll scrub my channel for it. So
yeah, that's
For
what
sure.
you tried to do it to me earlier. I took it down immediately though.
Snafu would.
Yeah, dude, he kept sending to me, just play it, just play it, just play it, just not even knowing what it was.
That's one of the things they look for on YouTube. And if you play that, I'm sorry, you're not going to have a channel anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad I got it down so fast.
I had to go to an alternative site in order to watch the link.
evidently they're showing where he. Evidently, right now they're showing where he evidently took off from the building and ended up in this parking lot, and then went out on the roadway.
Yep, disappeared, so to speak.
Right. But that's what I'm confused about. The shot that I saw earlier, like I said, it had squad cars, but no civilian vehicle around the squad cars.
I wish I would have seen that.
And they had a man contained on the sidewalk, and there was a bike there, and they were going through his bag, and they had a rifle with a silencer on it. So let's take a look at this one here. This one here says Charlie Kirk shooting witness says man yelled, "I'd do it again" after shooting.
That was the old man they first apprehended.
Right, and that's why I question it. And it says, witness says man yelled, "I'd do it again." Is this the man that said he would do it again? How did they misidentify the man that they clearly understood as saying, "I'd do it again"? How did they hear him say, "I'd do it again" if he was on the roof?
No. The one they grabbed was in the crowd. It was an older gentleman claiming, I did it, finally. And then I'd do it again if I had to.
Oh.
He was
Well, let's
spouting all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, let's listen to this, see if we can figure that part out.
Did you see that one I sent you? Oh, wait, no, I sent it to the wrong person, my bad. I sent it to myself.
I don't have it.
Here we go. Oh, that's brutal, dude. I can't even look at that.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
I know.
Yeah. Don't show that. Don't show it.
I mean, I can't believe Snafu tricked me into it.
Yeah, just to preface it, it is a gory shot of just arterial blood coming out of the
massive amount of blood immediately.
So let's take a look at this one. See what they say here. This one's 2 minutes and 8 seconds long.
Yes, sir. I'll mute up.
we did receive video of the moment that shot rang out. We heard from our Aaron Katersky, Bob, that reports say that possibly that bullet hitting Charlie Kirk's neck, as our Aaron Katersky was describing, you could actually see blood pouring out. We did hear straight from Charlie Kirk's organization that he co-founded, Turning Point USA, that he is in the hospital, and they are all praying for him. Prayers coming from the President of the United States to those involved in his organization, those that have been on the tour with him. Aaron Katersky, anything new that you have learned as we will continue, of course, to hit the top of the hour here? We're trying to get as much information as possible about the condition of Charlie Kirk after being shot there on the university campus in Utah.
It seemed, according to eyewitness accounts and by law enforcement experts who have viewed the video, to be a very difficult injury from the single shot that struck Charlie Kirk. So everyone in the administration is sending prayers for his survival and well-being, but everyone is also braced for what could be some difficult news, Kira, because the single shot struck Charlie Kirk. Eyewitnesses said they saw a lot of blood coming from him, and then they all scattered. Now the university is urging everyone to leave campus to allow police to conduct the investigation. The suspect that was taken into custody, according to eyewitness accounts, was heard screaming, "I do it again," described as an older male wearing a blue shirt, someone who has white hair. We've heard nothing else about the suspect, if it is indeed himself or his condition. So far, the local police have said nothing. It's only the university that's now urging everyone to clear out of campus, Kira.
What happened here? There we go. So yeah,
the press conference that all the officials held a while ago, they said the old man was being held for obstruction of justice for what he yelled out.
yeah, and I would think that would be a minimum, because anybody that would say that, it would automatically put in my mind, well, he either shot from the crowd, but he doesn't have a weapon on him. So how could he shoot from the crowd? So it's a two-party thing, possibly, or the guy's insanely delusional, and being out of the mix of the general crowd of college students, an older man like that just does not fit in.
Well, I think on those Charlie Kirk things, they allow the general public in, if I'm not mistaken. It's not necessarily just college students.
DJ Emo says, yeah, the guy who asked about mass shootings just as he got shot, part of the play. Was that the man that asked him about the mass shootings?
I don't know.
Was it a professional hit?
One story has it that he had a bulletproof vest on, and when it hit his jacket, the bulletproof jacket thing, that it deflected and went into his neck. I don't know yet. But there's no doubt watching that clip. Oh, there was no doubt that was some serious blood loss immediately.
DJ Emo, are you confirming that it was the old man they arrested was the one that was asking about the trans mass shootings?
Huh?
See, I have a lot of questions about how this happened, just in a little bit that I've acquired. You know, who goes around with a rifle with a silencer to do this? Is it a one-man action? What are the brains behind it?
I want to point out something that he made a statement about like about a month ago about how he's no longer sure of his support for Israel, just for what it's worth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he started. I remember that he started questioning his support for Israel because they're playing the same game as Hamas, pointing fingers back and forth at each other for bullshit, and neither one of them wanting to actually come to peace. Each side wants to end the other. Each side wants to genocide the other.
Yeah.
is the story. You know, Israel puts out that they're coming to destroy us, and Hamas puts out that they're coming to destroy us. You know, the rest of the world is up in a panic because it's the Jewish state, and that was developed in 1947. So anyway, my first question, I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to put it in chat so everybody can think about it. And what I'm asking is, given that Charlie Kirk, pull it up. Oops. Given that Charlie Kirk himself did not complete college, like I said in the beginning of the stream, do you think he is in a credible position to critique the value and purpose of higher education for others?
Absolutely. There's no.
I mean,
there's
look
no
how successful he was.
So his effect is the kudos and coup de grace to his autodidactic aspects. In other words, it's because he is one of those few that is willing to be so discerning and stand up and put his discernment out there where others cut down and don't want to talk about it. He brings it to the open discussion.
I like that you have heckle buses here.
Yeah.
No, I mean, here's the thing, dude. This is an issue where we see people who are going 95% almost one direction with these colleges. Like, it's everyone that I've known has been, they never lean one side. They always lean one side. And from what I'm thinking is that even though I don't like either side, I do lean slightly to the right, ever so slightly. You know what I mean? Because I mean, there's a lot of good reasons for that. You know what I mean? It's just like, because we see on the other side, this is a quote from somebody I'm close to. I would never be so foolish to ever share someone's actual relation with me ever again. But they told me, well, they told me, they said that I was talking about how there was some sort of rumor that Trump had died, right? And I was I brought this up at this event that I was at, and then the person told me, yeah, well, I hope so. And I was like, why would you say that? And, she's like, well, I just, think he's really a horrible person and I hope that he dies. And I'm like, dude, we can't be thinking like that about anyone, even our worst enemy. Because that's how and I know there's a ton of people out there who are going to be happy about this. And that's the saddest part.
I was on OG's panel today, and you guys know the Furby called Mel?
No, I don't.
You don't know the furry thing? Okay.
No, I don't.
He came on there giddy and happy that it happened. And it got so bad that OG had to toss him.
I'm glad I said I didn't know him, because that's exactly why I don't know him. I don't want to know shit like that. That is fucking insane.
It was disgusting. Celebrate. I mean, this man's got a wife and 2 babies. What are they? Yep. 3 and 1 or 3 and a few months old? And they're celebrating such stupidity.
And DJ Emo, in response to my question, no matter what Charlie's accolades are, he was making young ones think for themselves, consider options with conscience, because that's how he learned to observe and contemplate his world, was with great care and discernment of thinking outside of what was presented to him. I think that's an important aspect. And that brings us to my second question. Go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
I don't care if he was right. I don't care if he was right or left. Somebody speaking out with the First Amendment right has no right to be dropped where they're at like that.
This is an important thing.
That's the purpose of free speech.
When we see people here who are acting in certain ways, to where maybe I might go after some people, but I never would ever think of their death or anything of that nature. I would never wish that upon my worst enemy. And there's some things that are less than that. They are less harsh than that I still wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And that's what I kind of wish we could see more of on the internet, is people who would think in that sort of sense. Like, am I going to engage with this even if it is kind of in bad taste? Or am I going to just disengage from it because it's in bad taste, even if it is going against somebody who I find is my enemy?
Yep. And that's the aspect that he was bringing to those colleges. As my second question, do you believe Charlie Kirk's approach to college as a scam undermines the value of intellectual development and critical thinking, or is he exposing legitimate flaws in academia? Like I
The
said,
flaw for sure.
yeah, they have a lineated process of remember this. He was using his autodidactism in observation and discernment to implore others to think outside of that box they were enslaved in. And I think that's what my whole thing is here today when we find the death of somebody like Charlie Kirk, where Congress pays so much attention to it that they give him a moment of silence and can't even hold the decorum before they get to the prayer. That's a sad day for freedom of speech and ideologies being discussed in open forums so we can come up with a better way of living together.
Now, the version of that clip I seen with Congress showed the Democrats saying, "No, fuck Charlie Kirk. He ain't worth a fuck." Somebody screaming out on the Democratic side. And they were saying, "No, no, no, no moment of silence. No." I thought, what the hell are we witnessing?
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the biggest political activists, standing alone in his category of not having college education and doing so well in it that Congress paid attention to him and gave him a moment of silence. Ain't no one else in history done that.
And what do you think about these kinds of events going forward? I feel like they're going to be
Well,
severely limited.
Well, it goes back to Lauren saying, but it is a sad day for freedom of speech and ideas. It's a restriction on that. And we have to, like Charlie Kirk was trying to wake up our younger generation to think for themselves. We have to continue that motion, that movement, because we can't let that die with Charlie Kirk. Like I said, he was one of a very rare breed.
That's why all this stuff that brings us together here is more important now than it was ever. I mean, I say ever because I've only been here for a month, but I mean, seriously, this is all of you people, and I've been saying this kind of since I've joined in, is that I want more. And people say, "Oh, who are you to want more? You just got here." But what I'm saying is that I want more for everyone. I want us to be. I just want us to be kind of creative in our endeavors to get out there in the real world. To like Keith, he goes to court, and I mean, whatever it takes.
Real shit. Yep.
Yeah, anything real.
Yeah, you like my screenplay when I let you have a peek at it.
Not these false, humongous ideas. You got to start with your local community. If your reasoning and logic are any good, people are going to pick up on it. That's why Charlie Kirk was so big.
Yeah, and I want to make a statement here with people talking about, I keep hearing this, "Oh, Landry, you just got to do it yourself. Stop looking for a team to help you out. You got to do it yourself." What are we going to be doing if we're all doing it ourselves? Then there will be no us. We have to help each other in any way we can.
Yep, and that's
why I argue with everyone that says you got to be your own boss. You can't be your own boss. You need workers eventually if your business gets big enough.
And Dominator, in reply to my question, when I was in college, they play a documentary where they said the Rathskellers dumbed down college because the education was too good. College is certainly not what it used to be. And I pose that this is a process of the indoctrination where you have students that are indoctrinated into a teaching. They go on to a higher education that instills that further indoctrination into them. And then they themselves become teachers that indoctrinate the next generation into an even dumber indoctrination. And so we have to counter that with that autodidactic thing. And that's retreating from that public education system in a manner that we can start instilling those natural talents of our children. That's their best opportunity to learn, is their own discernment. You teach them wise discernment for their own characters, what's good for them independently. And they become accustomed to that, and they catch the idea of this do unto others as you have them do unto you. And that helps instill them to work towards what's good for others as well as themselves. What we have today is a numbness where nobody really cares and they're just doing their job.
And the numbness we feel for one another.
I've told this story recently, and I don't know if you heard it or not. Back when I was in the 5th or 6th grade, the math and science teacher got together and convinced the school to dig them a small 6-foot trench. And then they came into us, and we had to design a bridge out of wood and build it and then test it, which required without any help. And then when I got to junior high, we had all kinds of electronics classes, computer classes, woodworking, automotive, metalworking, and the same in high school. It continued. So that if you wanted to go into a trade and you really knew your stuff, there was no need for college, you know?
Yeah.
But
And that's
my youngest, I'll finish this with, okay, go ahead.
That's exactly what I'm talking about with the autodidactic thing and taking back your responsibility of teaching your own children. It's going to enhance their education tenfold, in my opinion, tenfold at minimum. They're going to have that much better comprehension.
When my youngest was in high school, she wanted to take a black history course. They wouldn't let her because she wasn't black. It was blacks only could take the course. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I mean, totally blew my mind that you would deprive somebody that wants to learn something.
Well, and part of that is DJ Emo says a lot of kids are medicated up to their eyeballs in academia too. Absolute zombies walking about, easily sucked into the jazz too. This is why Big Pharma is part of it. It's part of a control mechanism of various different branches of the powers that be. Well, if people understood the true powers that rest in themselves, they would be able to easily suck out of that jazz and write their own tune. And then we go on to the Eldon says, I think when you're part of the club, you're not going to die. Amazing how everyone has come to that conclusion, just like the shuttle disaster distraction. You got to understand it's a big club and you ain't in it. So why do you keep voting to be in it and struggling to be in it, struggling to keep up with the Joneses?
Well, that's the problem. People
is that really where you want to be?
People got wants instead of fulfilling their needs. You know, once your needs are fulfilled, you can be as happy as hell. The wants are a nice thing, but they're not necessary.
Yeah, I have very little things in my life, folks, and I'm so much happier without them.
Yeah, God has blessed me through my life.
I've got a nice little library here with all my little doodads and pens and everything that I use for my writing, my printer, my file cabinets, my little desk area. And beyond that, I got a set of fishing poles and some survival equipment.
Yeah, I wish I could get our poll to understand me instead of hate me. But
that's okay. We don't.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter until he puts his voice out in the line.
And
he has a true disdain for me because of Jack Talcott.
Well, hey, I came around, so
yeah, it's our poll. I don't even think about him most of the time. I put up.
He's
with
more
him
like our troll.
Look at the last statement he just put up.
Yeah,
he wants you to react to it.
Yeah, he wants you to react to it. DJ Emo says, "Did you watch till the end of the moment of silence in Congress? Dems went out cheering."
Yeah,
and that's the disgusting part.
I bet they fucking did, dude.
Yeah,
they
I don't
did.
know. Just like Melanie Fox, I don't know her or him. I don't know Congress either. Okay.
Well, Melanie is a Canadian, and I told her I told him that you don't know what America is. You don't live here. You're looking from the outside in. until you get here and understand, you got no say so.
Can I ask you about Unit 8200, Keith?
Says that
What's
site
that?
can't be reached.
What site?
That one you sent me in, the first one from Whitney Webb.
I don't see any site. I just sent you a transcript.
Got a site link in there. Oh, it's an
Arpol, when you drop a donation, I'll consider it. I've
Are
given
you?
to Keith before.
Oh, I see it. But so I sent more than a link. You can't see the transcript?
Yeah, I see the transcript, but I tried clicking on what I
Oh
thought
yeah.
was.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
This is just.
Yeah, that's a web link outside of the actual World Wide Web. It's like a private web.
Yeah. Don't click that.
So let me see here. So yeah, Dems, I don't. Congress, I don't know them either. Republicans or Democrats.
I got to go tend to the an issue. I'll be back shortly.
Yep. So let's see what our poll. So you were talking about our poll's comment back here. The Kirk one, so people stop talking about the Trump one. Well, and then right in time, like we said, it's 9:10. Tomorrow's 9/11. Ain't nobody gonna be talking about Charlie Kirk or Trump tomorrow. Imagine that. Imagine that. So yeah, our poll. Think some more, brother. We are thinking. We're thinking about all of it. Some of us aren't distracted by one thing over another. We put them all in a big picture and look at the big picture. So the next one I got is, do you think Charlie Kirk's views, let me get it. Do you think Charlie Kirk's views in regards to open dialogue risk promoting a form of nationalism that shuts down that open dialogue? In other words, do you think it's going to create this great divide where there's going to be a democracy vote someday that says, okay, we're going to start shutting down this First Amendment freedom of expression shit because it hurts us too much? Do you think one party, this left-wing party and its emotional feelers, is going to portray that emotional feeling so much that people are already conditioned to it, that they will then vote for that emotional enslavement and shut down their ability themselves to have an open dialogue?
That's a long question.
Very simply put, do you think the people are enslaved so much that Charlie Kirk is a trigger session to foment the very closure and extraction of the First Amendment?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is big, and it is like here's the thing, dude. If these people are going to act the way that I predicted they will act, which has already been seen, where they're cheering and they're excited and they're happy, same way they would have been, same people who said whenever Trump was almost shot, oh, I wish it would have hit him. And that's going to trigger the other side beyond belief, because, these people are going to be, how are you guys anti-gun, but then you will allow for this? That's going to be the whole thing, and they're going to get so mad, and there's going to be, I think we might see more similar to what we did in 2020 with George Floyd right here.
Yep. Dorado, come on up. The link's down there. The button's right down there to push it.
Do you think you're a tard? At least you can probably spell the correct "your," don't you think?
DJ Emo, always coming up with good ones. I wish DJ would come up on the panel. Come on.
Is that not a sock?
Oh. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, come up, DJ Emo. Somebody come up. That's what I'm saying. All the chronic chatters need to get their ass up here every now and then. I mean, it's just crazy that they don't come up.
Yeah, even a lot of emotion with this one too. That's why I say, I don't speak on these political venues much, but even I'm caught up in my emotions and wanting to discuss this because, like I said, Charlie Kirk was one of the very rare breeds, very rare breed. And I wish we had more people like him because of the way he thought, the way he challenged thought, you know. And yes, because he was a Bible-thumping statist. When you believe in government and the Bible, you are in a state of cognitive dissonance that create division in the self and amongst others.
Can I share a screen real quick?
Sure.
This is kind of interesting. This is about how it was, immediately before they even do anything, it was labeling it as a political assassination when there's no suspect or established motive. So the governor used that instantly. It was not a legal finding, but it did carry political weight. I mean, do you think it's inherently political because of just the person who he was? So you think it's a fair claim?
Well, I think it's inherently political because it's a matter of education. Again, I hope people are going to grasp this concept, is that the political unit is the control mechanism, and it starts its control at birth. And that control is instilled because mom and dad were indoctrinated in the public education system to believe the government. So everything is politicized. So anybody that speaks out against any kind of government activity, including college as a scam, which I will guarantee you, Charlie Kirk is correct, not only in the sense that he presents, but I'll present it in the paperwork that you fill out to get that college loan, that student loan. That's fraud. In my opinion, that is fraud at its inception, because nobody and you can't really articulate it as fraud because we've gotten so deep into the indoctrination. You really can't point the finger at the guy across the counter and say he knows what's going on and therefore it's fraud. So we have to step lightly on that, knowing that it's a fraudulent situation that we have to rectify ourselves by correction of the record. Most people will not understand that. They will sit there and point fingers and say it's fraud and you did it.
Yeah.
That's how deep this indoctrination's gotten, is people just don't know what they're doing, but they will sit there and claim that I'm just doing my job. And though they think they're just doing their job comes with more knowledge than what they have. And that is the cause of Hitler's willing executioners. People getting set up because somebody's just doing their job. And the guy just doing their job doesn't know the first thing about it, and he goes home happy with his paycheck, supporting his family, and goes back to work the next day and tells the next guy, I'm just doing my job.
I'm going to get your mustache here soon. We're going to be ripping them together.
Yeah.
This is a perfect time to do it. I mean, do you think anyone would even approach me if I did it? That's kind of the point, right?
Well, and I'll tell you, my experience is that when I put it out here on the metaverse, this is where people respond. Out there in real life, people won't say a word to you about it. Not around here anyway. Down there, different area, different environment. They might.
So, Bex, can you elaborate on your spurging right now?
She's talking about the same thing I am. It's these people that Charlie Kirk is interviewing, and they insist that he should think the way they do. And because of their questions, they already have a problem with communication because the questions they pose are fucking duplicitous or deceptive or babble or misguided or conditioned, things like that. And they're not being truthful with their questioning. And it's not so much that they know they're being dishonest, but again, because they've been indoctrinated so much that they don't know how to ask real questions.
Hey, I wanted to clarify. And even in a space where people claim to be free thinkers, whilst they stare at their phones claiming to be truth seekers, hubris runs rampant. Come on up, Bex.
Yeah, come on up. I always appreciate your opinions.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
But anyway, my next question, to the political venue and its policies is, do you think Charlie Kirk's, oops, what happened here? Do you think Charlie Kirk's message appeals more to policy and fact-based argumentation than to emotion and identity? And this is what I was saying. The people that ask him questions, they seem to be in their emotions and identity.
Yeah.
And that's why, I think he's attacking more the policy and fact-based argumentation.
Yeah.
That's my position on it. Do you think it's the same thing?
Yeah, I do.
And anybody else down in chat, greetings, Bear Jew. Anybody else that's here, DJ Emo, the Benefactor, Neutral Ground, who else? Lowrider, Jeeps is here, Noah the Great, Arpole, including you, Freedom Grower. Welcome everybody, Dorado. Let me know.
I do want to point out that I appreciate your willingness to try to make that happen. I've seen some pretty strong resistance from questions from my experience, but it's confusing to me because it's a good way to format the chat, but people usually don't respond to it when I do it.
What's that?
Whenever I'm asking questions to the chat, like you just did, a lot of the times you'll get maybe some people will, but often they just kind of keep talking about whatever they're talking about.
Well, yeah, and this is the importance of what people were trying to tell you. Don't get in your feelers in the chat. If you're going to read the chat, use it for your purpose and intent to push your point. And so when people like Dorado come up and post their things, I'm quick to dismiss them. Yeah, come on up. Do you think you're a target? I'm not even going to address that. I'm just going to ask them to come up. Whereas people that have actual points and stuff, I'm gonna discuss those. So again, people in the chat, do you think Charlie Kirk was more augmented towards the appealing the policy and fact-based argumentation, or do you think he was the one in the emotional and identity crisis? Because I see it as his, and I've seen some people come up with good questions, but then in that questioning, like I said, it falls back to an identity issue or an emotional trauma that they've experienced that now causes them to believe that everybody else should be treated in a certain way. And I don't think that's the way we can progress. I think that's a limiting aspect of trying to regulate traumatic activities.
I agree. And see, Bex, did you vanish? Did you disappear when we tell you to come up? Because I wanted to know if she's making a because then also the guy who just said that she's in the big club, or he was in the big club. What are you insinuating, Bear Jew?
Yeah, if you think he was in the big club, the ones that of the powers to be as a plant, then he was either as a plant to foment this particular incident or to push for that divide. And I don't see him as pushing for that divide. He was pushing for a collective communion of thought. And that's why he attacked the thoughts and not the people and their activities.
I think they're going to, if there was some claim about a transgender talking point, I hope everyone realizes what the transgender thing is, right? Because what that is that it's something so ridiculously absurd that it pushes one side so far to the extreme of how far they will go and what they're capable of brainwashing people into, that the other side has to put all their time and energy into that, right? Because they don't want that around their kids. They don't want that around their school. They don't want any sort of like people who are going to think that that's normal in any way. You know what I mean? They're not going to be happy about that. It's going to make them deeply uncomfortable, and that's going to be 95% of these people's, political rage is these transgender people instead of the things that actually matter. So that's where we get so caught up in the bullshit that we have to disengage from the political trigger things that are in the limelight.
Yeah, and that's important to understand that disengagement. Paul talks about that a lot. Detachment, being attached to something so much that you can't detach. And these are the things that I'm talking about. Is the indoctrination causes an attachment. It's a conditioning to be attached to a false patriarch, believing that false patriarch is going to provide and protect when it doesn't do either. And Lowrider says, I don't think he was really that controversial, which is why you don't, which is why I don't understand the assassination. And I do see him as controversial because I've seen many people that will sit there and say, I'm just doing my job because they had that same kind of education, a college education that gave them a degree to hang on the wall, that say they had some kind of intellectual authority over somebody on the other side of the counter that didn't know what their
I
job
bet
is.
Cynthia does, Jeeps. It's the thing where I'm trying to reach these people where we can be enemies and still find common ground. And like, it just, if we can't do that, what are we doing? What else can we do if we can't find the love for even our enemies? I have one tattoo. I only have one. And it says, hey, unloving, I will love you. And I don't live it, but I try to live it more, and I should try to live it more. It's important that we try to like you said when, what was that thing that you said when we first started talking? I love you, but I don't respect you or something. What was it?
I love you. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back.
Okay, there we go.
That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That part, it's on you. And then the next question I've got, Charlie criticized diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in universities. Do you think his views represent a genuine concern for fairness, or do they overlook systemic inequities that DEI programs have? And that's me importing my concept that DEI is not equity, even though it has equity in it. Diversity, equity, inclusion, I think, is a systemic inequity within the system. Outside of the system, diversity, equity, inclusion is very important. But within this system, this political system that is dependent upon a certain education for certain qualifications, it dismisses the qualifications for an indoctrination. And that is part of the problem. We are indoctrinated, we are conditioned. And that conditioning has slowly changed from education and intellect to emotion and identity.
The issue is like revealing itself more and more. That's what I worry is going to happen here. When you just see do you see that heavy metal ink inside of you forever? I'm not trying to respond to that. It's just like, that's like so stupid. I mean, I was 18 and I got one and I never wanted to get a second one. So whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't had vaccinations in I don't know how long. Aside from cancer, I haven't been sick in 30 some years. I'm the outdoors guy. I use some of the herbal things that I've learned about throughout my life. I used to garden every year. I haven't had a garden since I had my last incident with the court and gave everything up. Now I don't have a place to garden. So I miss that part. And like I said, other than cancer, I never got sick in 30 years. So anyway, that's my outlook on this system with diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's slowly changed over time with people believing that this education was good for us and it was going to give us a high intellect. And that is not the case. It's actually dumbed us down and converted us from an intellectual being that will have open discussions to harboring fear and living in boxes of identity and emotions. That's my opinion. And I think Charlie Kirk was speaking out against that.
I think you're right.
And again, I'm looking for chat to help out here too. Lowrider says, I think it's because he was turning a lot of students against their college indoctrination. I will almost bet the shooter was a college professor or someone connected to somebody whose income was dependent upon that good college education. Absolutely. I would agree there. There's got to be some kind of connection. Like I said, the guy in the crowd and the shooter, he claimed some kind of connection right there. And it was seemingly connected by the question he asked directly of Charlie Kirk. And then when Charlie Kirk was shot, he turned around and said, I'd do it again, implying that he was part of it and therefore a professional hit of some sort. So, yeah. My next question is Charlie Kirk frequently invokes Christianity. This is part of what I speak on as well. And again, one of those correlations that I have with Charlie Kirk. And I'll tell you here, I am not Christian. I am not Christian, but I am well studied in the Christian scriptures. And Charlie Kirk frequently invoked Christianity in his political messaging. Do you think mixing religion and politics in this way strengthens civic values or risks alienating non-Christian Americans?
I want to also are these your questions, or are you?
Yeah, these are my
You're
questions.
just copying and pasting yours in. Okay.
Yep, I wrote them down before I did the stream because this is, like I said, I'm not a political guy, but I was heartfelt with Charlie Kirk. Every time I watch him, he seemed to make sense, and he was drawing people, and that's because of the way he was speaking, and he spoke very diplomatically. He was always polite and courteous to people. He didn't call them names. He didn't put him in second, first person or first person. He almost always spoke in third person, and I learned a lot from him just by watching. And I think that's, again, where people should be geared in their observation of the world, is being autodidactic and being so open-minded that they can open things that are uncomfortable and be comfortable in that discussion, because they're not in their feelers and it's not about them. It's about a very important topic.
Yeah, no, and I'm there with you. I've always been a little bit frustrated with my pull to the right, because I want to be. It feels good to be part of a group sometimes. It feels good to be like involved in something where you can rely on each other. But with what we see, it's just they kind of just talk about the football game, and then they talk about the other mainstream stuff, so it doesn't go anywhere. But I think that it might be alienating, like you said.
Yeah, and that's why I bring it up. Tribe comes in with, like it or not, the Christian religion is part of our American common law. And so my question, as it relates to mixing religion and politics, we have to understand, I am a firm believer, again, in my opinion, that this polity is derived from Christianity. Remember, they used the doctrine of discovery in fomenting and building the United States of America. It was based on Christian principles. So I think it's very interconnected. And DJ Emo comes in again. I think some Americans use their religion or faith and are allowed with it to let their boundaries be known and where they come from. It's all about first impressions over there. And remember, DJ Emo is from Ireland, I believe. Made a comment earlier that he speaks a thick accent and he's on a phone, so we probably wouldn't be able to understand him. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your comments, really do. And I think that's important to understand. That's my impression as I grew up learning about this political system, that it was in fact based on Christianity. And I don't think people make that connection because they've been so convinced and indoctrinated in the separation of church and state. The state wouldn't be able to put out those words if it weren't for in beginning was the word. My last question, and then we can get on to yours. Let me see here. Does Charlie Kirk, and I pose these as he, and my apologies, because it did, it's current. I'm still stunned. Did Charlie Kirk emphasize on capitalism and individualism, capitalization on it, ignore or adequately address structural barriers faced by marginalized people or communities in America? In other words, was he addressing properly a way for those students in their emotions and identity to be able to comprehend what was actually being done so they wouldn't feel marginalized or separated into their own little structured communities? In other words, was his open dialogue simple and concise enough that You know, like he said a few times, even a fucking fifth grader can understand him.
Yeah, no, I think it's I mean, obviously it's easily approachable, and I've seen a ton of people, like, they always make fun of his face, and they put his face as smaller on his little head, and it's always, you know, when you have to resort to looks or people's appearance, it's always a bad sign that you can't really get to the argument.
Yeah.
And so
Exactly. That's what I was saying about the chat and their ad hominem character text. Why pay attention to them? And particularly once you do catch a comment, why would you go further with it if you know it means absolutely zero?
why waste precious energy and breath on it, you know?
Why waste your intellect over an emotional contrast?
It's a good point.
So what do you got? Because basically my questions structure my opinion about Charlie Kirk and the rare breeds like him, which I feel I am one of those. Even though I don't speak out like him, I have those same concepts and questions as to these people and their emotions and identities. And that's why I do, when I speak out to city council and speak to the mayor or the city attorney in private, I wear this. This is a private communication that's open. You cannot deny it. I'm not going to sit here and be your bitch.
Yeah, I mean, as far as everything I have, it's you know, still trying to put a more concise bow on it, but I think the timing is good for me to hunker down on the things I've already been saying about the people in these spaces, and like, is it really important that we I mean, so I do. Okay, I want to pose you this question, and this is related, but is there anything that you won't allow for sort of in your space here, or do you leave it open completely?
Yeah, I don't like Steven.
Like anything at all, just like not even specific people.
Well, no, people like Steven that come up with these derogatory and derogatory slurs, whether they be racial or diversely inequitous, whether it be about gender or anything. You know, this is not a drama platform. This is a thought platform, an educational discussion forum where we can learn how to interact with each other without being emotionally triggered and me, and victim. You know, because that's one of the things I think people have confused about myself in this metaverse when it comes to begging for $5,000 on a certain platform because I had cancer. That never happened. I've never been a victim. I've never victimized myself. I am the one that has always stood up, even throughout the 93 cases, and had to stand there and argue with attorneys that were trying to tell me to shut up. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I wanted to be heard, not as a victim, but as an intellectual, knowing that what you're doing is wrong, not just to me, but to my children. Because I don't want to let it happen to me because I don't want my children to have to put up with this bullshit. So I have to recognize it as bullshit, not in a victim stance, but as a man that's going to stand his ground and say, I'm not the one that you're just going to do your job on. You can do your job on someone else. DJ Emo says, I think he was invited to these campuses by his own Charlie Kirk's club at the schools. Imagine that. You aren't even safe among your team. The world's mad. It is. It is. He was welcomed at these campuses because if he wasn't, they'd have told him, no, we don't want you here. And he probably would not have gone there because, like I said, he is a very diplomatic guy and he just doesn't want to be somewhere where he's gonna know that he's triggering so many people that something like today would much likely have happened sooner. He was, in effect, I think, trying to avoid those things at best he could, but knowing he was still pushing that boundary, no matter where he went.
Agreed.
I think it's a sad day.
It is a sad day. And that's why
And
I'm
I
going to
just
try to
noticed-
focus more on the more serious things and rather the petty shit back and forth. Because this is what I'm trying to say. Is it's not about the people. I might bring them up, but it's just because I want to push people to get with their, just even if it is creatively encouraging each other. I want people to realize that we can do more than this. And I get it, I'm new here, but I'm just saying that we can, everything counts, every little small thing. And if we can just keep each other accountable in just certain small ways, I think it's worthwhile. Because it is true that we all have something that we can learn from each other, but it's not always what's happening.
Michael says Islamic principles as well. The Treaty of Tripoli, as the government of the United States of America, is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. You would have to impress me otherwise, because when the forefathers first came here under Christopher Columbus, they were in fact Christians, and their intent at that time was in fact Christianity and the ability to freely spread Christianity through the doctrine of discovery. I do firmly believe, as the year of the Bible, as President Ronald Reagan put out in Public Law 97-280, the principles of the supreme law of this land, founded in the Constitution of the United States of America, are based in the spiritual scriptures of the King James Bible. That's public knowledge, public record. And everybody agreed, yeah, this is a Christian nation. Again, confirming that there really is no separation of Christian of church and state. It's a mentality in this political system. They're fomenting that they're following a true patriarch when it is in fact a false patriarch, but still founded on that patriarch. So anyway, anything else there, Landry?
Not at this time, no, sir.
All right. Well, I certainly appreciate you. Was kind of hoping Chuck would come back. Thought he'd be back by now.
Yeah, who
But
knows?
because I know I like listening to Chuck. He's got a plethora of knowledge and views on history, particularly current histories and stuff, because he is such an old fucker.
Yeah, I'm too young for many things.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, but Chuck's still older than me, and I appreciate both the younger generations and the older. Because, like I said, it's important that we don't become so lineated and indoctrinated that we stop learning. And
It's an important thing. That's why I'm always telling people I'm wrong a lot, and I'll be wrong a lot more times. But that's all in the nature of finding out the truth.
Jeep says the same thing, kind of along the lines of dismissing the country, the nation, as a Christian foundation. The founding fathers were Masons. I don't know how you can say there's Christian foundations unless it's an experiment. And again, they may have been Masons.
Dude, there's so many Christian Masons.
Right. And that's the foundation, again, of the nation in its origins, from splitting off from the United Britain, and in its origins, it was Christian, and over time, it has changed. It has morphed. It has changed. It has morphed from a religious aspect to an intellectual aspect, and now to an emotional and identification aspect. It's always morphing, but it's a set of conditions that are morphing, because society is becoming so dense and tight, and that's the box we're bound in. So we get tight in our feelers and emotions, and nothing else counts, let alone intellect or even spirituality. In other words, I think we're morphing farther and farther away from spirituality and into an indoctrinated inducement of this supposed freedom through conditioned comfort and relief that are exchanged to one's detriment for control and authority.
I mean, well, thank you for having me on.
You bet. Appreciate it. And hope to see you again sometime.
Sure you will.
And you guys know me. I appreciate you coming. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. put in a word of silence for whether you knew him or not. I think it's important to understand the First Amendment and our freedom of speech. And that freedom of speech is to open dialogue, to open to abstract concepts so we can progress in newer ways, better ways, and not be indoctrinated into one beaten path where we end up tripping over each other in a stampede trying to get somewhere. And with that, you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. I say I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. And that part's on you. So may God bless you and have a good night. We'll see you next time.